Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of All Four Downs podcast. And we're getting set ready as we get to predict what's going to happen this weekend, this
Yes,
Sunday, of the AFC NFC Conference Championships. I can't believe it, man. It's like we're right here.
that's
You
it.
know, and I feel like sometimes it was probably like week one or two, like we were just getting started.
All right.
And all of a sudden now was like, yo, this is it, man. This is it. And it's crazy. Man, we're now down to four teams.
That's it. 28 are gone and 4 are
Mhm.
left.
And this show, once again, is brought to you by the HHW Show podcast, which is myself and Hector and Frank, who's waiting in the wind there in another hour as we start our wrestling show. But yeah, we definitely support all our podcasts. Big shout out to Joe Guard and Clovercrest Media. Big shout out to all the listeners out there that have been following us from the beginning as we get set to predict our next two games. But before we do that, let's go see how we got here,
Yes.
right? Because like I said, a lot of movement here and there. And we'll start with first down. And I'm going to zoom in real quick and look at the whole entire picture, how it started. The Chiefs and the Lions, both respectively, had a bye week because they were the number one seed. Then the AFC, really, the Texans, defeated the Chargers, while the Ravens went ahead and handled their business with the Steelers, and the Bills defeated the Broncos. Out of those games, I mean, it was pretty realistic that the Bills were going to win big. The Steelers, a lot of people say that the Steelers didn't show up. And surprisingly, that the Chargers lost to the Texans. You would think that would have been a big push. Maybe the hype because Jim Harbaugh was the head coach.
Right.
But turnovers is what killed the Chargers and the lack of energy here and there. But as everyone advanced, then you had the Chiefs defeating the Texans, in which many talk about to this day that the referees kind of helped the Chiefs pass on because the Texans should have won this game, honestly.
Right.
All right. A lot of penalties going favor for the Chiefs, but hey, it's a done deal. And then the Bills defeated the Ravens, which was an awesome game.
Gosh, was it?
But when you turn over football, you just find yourself losing the game. And Lamar Jackson did that. And I'm not going to blame on that last play, on that catch that their tight end was supposed to catch. But in those conditions, hey, you could catch 50 million, but there's one that has to count the most, and it didn't produce. And it is what it is. I think it was that 2-point conversion that was supposed to tie the game.
Yes.
That didn't happen. But yep. But let's go ahead on the other side of the NFC where we had the Rams defeating the Vikings. Pretty obvious there, especially when the week prior the Vikings had lost to the Lions. They were in deep decline. The Commanders upset the Buccaneers 23-20, and the Eagles surpassed the Packers 22-10. That led us to the next round, the divisional round. The Commanders upset the Lions 45-31. We're talking about a total of 76 points right there. Okay. And then the Eagles defeating the Rams, in which I'm going to tell you right now, if the weather was nice, the Rams would have defeated the Eagles. Yes.
Yeah.
The Eagles would have been down. And I don't care if you're going to change the scenario, like maybe the Eagles would have played better and stuff like that. Listen, the Eagles passing game has not been spectacular. And if you're going to depend on one person to run, on Saquon Barkley, I'm sorry, in order to win a Super Bowl, you have to have a balanced offense, but definitely you need defense.
Yeah, you do. You got. I mean, defense. We know in the playoffs and going into the Super Bowl wins championship games. And if you don't have that, it doesn't help balance the offense. The offense kind of, to me, feeds off the defense when it comes to the playoffs. Definitely leading the Super Bowl. We've seen plenty of that. So
And the funny part is that during the season, you need an offense, right?
Yeah,
You need
right,
points. But if you look at the Lions, probably the number one offense in this year in the NFL, right?
right.
And they put up 31 points. And you would think with 31 points, you could win a game. You don't got no defense. and in their defense, a lot of were banged up. They were out, but still managed to do what they had to do. It just when the time comes, you don't got your defense, you don't go nowhere.
No, that's true. I mean, we kind of skipped it throughout the last couple of games of the regular season when we heard about the Lions being banged up. Will this team last? And I thought they were going to drop a couple of games at the end, but they didn't. They just kept on winning. But you're right. I mean, their offense was spectacular in the sense that you look at all the other winning scores throughout the playoffs this year. The only team that the Lions did not out was the Texans by 1 point, but they outscored every other winning team. But you're right, that defense did not show up. Goff made some key mistakes, some key throws that just did not go their way, and the defense just could not stop Washington. Now the question is, can Washington take that momentum into this Sunday's game?
Oh man, there's plenty to talk about there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, the final two games, four teams, the Chiefs in the AFC, the Chiefs versus the Bills, which are favored by 2 points, still a pick'em game. And then you have the Eagles versus the Commanders. The Eagles are favored by 6 points. Now, again, as of right now, all that could change leading into Sunday, but one has to figure as to will it change, all right? Because a lot of people are betting on the Bills to win, right? The Bills are ready to beat the Chiefs. We're going to talk about some history there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way the Commanders won, there was a formula missing that may have resulted the Commanders winning in their last game. We're going to talk about that and much, much more moving on to second down. And we'll start off with the NFC because that is the first game on Sunday, okay? And it's 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox. And if you look at this chaotic stuff that I put here, all right, zooming into the NFC and all the games that led to the NFC Championship, excuse me. This is going to be the third appearance. Now, Hector, I would tell you that if there was a clean sweep, I would have told you that the team that lost both games were going to win. It's just a thing that happens in the NFC East, okay? And that's history. But if I'm looking at this right now, comparing to the first and second meeting that they've had, they scored 28 total points in the fourth quarter in each game. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
And it's on opposite teams.
Right.
And it's the home team.
Mm-hmm.
So does the home team have advantage here? Or will we see another upset? And it's crazy because in the second game, Jalen Hurts got hurt. And he was taken out in the first quarter, and then that's all she wrote. Washington did what they had to do, and especially when the Philly was up 21-7, and then Washington kept creeping up. You see, again, it's a lot, right? And then on the first meeting, it was 10-6 by the end of the third quarter, and then everything started blowing up.
Yeah.
So what does happen? Which team will have an advantage leading into the fourth quarter? That's
a good question because you look at the second and third quarters of both games, not a lot of offense. There's literally no offense in either of those two games. Nine total points in Philadelphia and then 13 total points in Washington in two quarters. You know what I'm saying? So it's like either you get a good start or you're gonna have a fantastic finish. And it looks like we may have round 3 going into the fourth quarter of this game.
Hey, don't have the lead in the third quarter. Don't do it because then you'll lose in the fourth.
Right. It seems like it, right.
Listen, Washington's 5-1 in NFC games. The Philadelphia Eagles are 4-4 in the NFC games. The NFC Championship games. I gotta be precise here, right? And this is a home game for the Eagles. And my question to you, Hector, is this: who is going to advance to the Super Bowl?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that congratulations to the NFC East. Going back to the Super Bowl. For the second time in 3 years, regardless of who it is, and how the NFC East was a joke dating back towards COVID time. Now it seems like the NFC East has come back, rising back to the top of the dominance of the NFC. Looking at this game and evaluating it, um, I really hate to go with this, but I think the Eagles have the slighter advantage here. The momentum is with the Commanders. The momentum is with the Commanders. We've seen this story before with teams going on the road in the playoffs and just making a mockery of everybody. I mean, we've seen that happen. I just think that the Eagles just have a little more firepower on the defensive side that's going to make enough plays to get Jalen Hurts out of a lot of trouble here, because he's not going to be mobile in this game. That Washington defense is going to attack him as hard as he can. But he found a way of throwing that ball and getting to Saquon Barkley against the Rams, and that's just shaking my head. How are you doing this, dude? You should have been hit. That ball should have came out of your hands, and next you know, Barkley's down the sidelines running in for a touchdown here. Honestly, I don't think Barkley's going to be a big factor, but I just think that their offense is going to surpass Jaden Daniels here. I think he may, as a rookie, make a mistake here. I think the spotlight may be a little too big for him in this situation. And so the defense for Eagles is what's going to win this game for them. I don't see a high scoring game like we've seen in these two games prior. So I'm going to swallow my gut here, and I'm going with Philadelphia to win this game.
I will want to go for Philadelphia, but I don't want to see a rematch. I don't want to see a rematch. And again, I'm not giving away. Maybe I should restate what I'm going to say. I don't want to see the Eagles back in the Super Bowl.
Right.
I love storyline, and I've been telling you this since we started a podcast. Storylines is my favorite.
Yeah.
What better story that we could say about Jaden Daniels, right?
Mm-hmm.
That no matter how much, and I have to go against what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing too much for this kid. He is a prime example, a role model for our youths and for everyone, really, of staying calm and collective no matter what the stakes are. And he has full support on the whole entire staff, not only the players in the field, but everybody above him. To do what he do and every week show up and give it his all, it speaks volume, okay? On the other side, I'm questioning on the Eagles' offense because it's been on a decline. And I've noticed receivers are not really getting that much of the ball unless they go all out in this game. And in that case, it is what it is. But you cannot rely on one person running the ball. The Eagles should never have advanced. The Rams, and I'm telling you, man, that weather was crazy. And that last drive, I mean, look, it's safe to say it goes both ways, right? Both teams were in the same condition, right? But I bet you if this game was in LA, it would have been different circumstances, and the Rams would have been hosting really against the Commanders. Yeah. I'm a firm believer in that. And there's been some assignments that were not there for the Rams that allow Saquon to win, and go to that, 70 plus yards of touchdown that he did.
Yeah.
It would have never happened. And it is what it is. They won. They got lucky. But the Commanders, that's not luck, man. That's called discipline. I'll pick discipline than anything else. And I am choosing the Washington Commanders to upset the Philadelphia Eagles and go to the Super Bowl. That's my pick.
I like it. I'm not gonna argue there. I mean, Washington has, already been underdogs twice in Tampa and in Detroit. They did their thing. I'm just really worried about Jaden Daniels running the ball, man. He leads the team in rushing yards. that's not good for your quarterback to lead the team in rushing yards. Yeah, they can run the ball, but I mean, if he gets
It's not like they was designing the play for him to run.
I get it.
It's just that when the defense are playing good against the wide receivers, right? And he is, first of all, he's always looking downrange. And I understand, like, we could talk about how Michael Vick played the game and everybody else in that caliber. He's not turning over the ball. You know what I mean? And he's doing what he's supposed to. He is listening and he is leading. And again, it's like the resilience and the perseverance. And they've done it so many times throughout the season that it's going to continue in this game. They haven't had a break. The momentum's not gone. And you said it. They're going in here with momentum.
Yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But the Eagles, I don't know, man. This is not the same Eagles that were dominant when they went to the Super Bowl.
No, I agree at that. You know, they almost are starting to mirror image the team that fell apart last year towards the end of the season. But Jalen Hurts finding a way to get that ball to Barkley. The line is finding a way to open up the hole for Barkley to do what he's doing. And it's just
you take Saquon Barkley out the picture and they're done.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And I don't think that
he's take out Jalen Hurts, they're done. Who they have for a backup? Nobody. Do you mean he's going to get a concussion again against the Commanders? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, man. It's like whatever happens in this third game, there got to be some improvement. And if the Commanders cannot stop the run game, they're in big trouble.
I think
definitely.
I think they're going to
time of possession is going to be a killer for the Commanders.
I think they're going to be able to stop the run game, but I don't think they're going to own the time of possession. I just feel like Jaden Daniels is going to force that ball too many times and it's going to get picked off. I just hate to say it, man. That Philly defense is not one to be played around with right now, especially in the passing side of the defense. That they're ranked second in passing defense this year. They can stop the passing, and that's what I'm afraid. So then that's going to me is going to rely on Jaden Daniels to run the ball, use his own legs to try to stretch out for that first down. That's why I just don't have a gut. I just don't feel good about it. I want you to be right. I really do, because we haven't seen Washington in the Super Bowl since the 90s. Since probably you was in high school. So
well, they played the Bills, then they won the Super Bowl against the Bills, right? During that time when they had In Living Color during the halftime show, when they make fun of Rippin.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dude, I watched the Washington Commander even when what's his name? Doug Johnson. Am I saying that right? The quarterback? What's his name? The black quarterback from the Washington.
It wasn't Doug Williams.
Doug Williams, excuse me. What did I just say?
Doug Johnson.
Oh man, I messed it up. My bad. Maybe, yeah, whatever. I killed it. My bad.
I thought you want to see you, Dougie.
Stop it. Already, look at you. Listen, I'm looking at the scores, right? And during the time that the Commanders did lose, Jaden Daniels did throw one interception. Okay, he went 22 for 32 for 191 yards. Brian Robinson had the most yardage with 63 yards and 16 attempts. Excuse me. Jaden Daniels rushed for 18 yards in that game. Saquon rushed for 146 with 26 carries. 26 carries. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah. Let's look at the last meeting that they had. Okay, and they went with three. I think he three quarterbacks. Saquon tried to be a quarterback and he got sacked. But Jalen Hurts was there for like 4 attempts and then he got a concussion. And then Kenny Pickett took over and he threw one interception. But Jaden Daniels threw 2 interceptions in that game. And yet they still won. Crazy. Because the Eagles could not capitalize.
Right.
Now, you're right. If he decides to overthrow the balls and everything and if Jalen Hurts avoids getting hurt, I could tell you that the Eagles will win. They need each other. You take one of them out, and the Eagles are in trouble.
Yeah.
And if it's a close game all the way to the fourth quarter, I'm almost sit down and be like, okay, how are they going to explode? Because
Right.
that's what happened in the last two games that they played against each other, putting up 28 points. Could they do it again? All right.
And I look back at that Cowboy game that Washington fumbled at home in that fourth quarter. It's like, come on, man. You can't be playing like that against Philadelphia here in this conference game. You can't do that.
Right. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. 100%. It's gonna be interesting.
It
But
is.
you got the Eagles, I got the Commanders. Let's go ahead and move on to the third down, which, oh, by the way, the AFC, which we got the Chiefs and the Bills. Look, Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Their record all time 4-4 overall, and one of those games being in overtime.
Right.
In the playoffs, though, the Kansas City Chiefs lead 3-0. 2 divisional rounds and 1 AFC Conference Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo's won the last 2 meetings in Kansas City. This game is at 6:30 p.m. on CBS. The temperature is going to be just right at 32 degrees. Kansas City 4-3 in the AFC, and Buffalo's 4-2. And we know about those 4 wins for Buffalo. That was 4 straight Super Bowls, 4 straight losses. And let's see what we got here. What's going to happen here? All right. And what can I say? I cannot doubt, and I hate to say this, but who are the refs going to go for? Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes? I'm just, this is a wild card for me. But I got to stick with the home team. I got to go with the Chiefs in this game. And I have no valid point because when it comes to not only storylines, maybe we will see history. This is going to be, again, Kansas City Chiefs are chasing to be the first team to win 3 in a row.
Yes.
And for Josh Allen, how many meetings do you need to get over the hump to get to the Super Bowl? Which, by the way, he is my number 1 for the MVP this season. Can he prove? Can he do it? I'm picking the Chiefs.
And also to add to the history of that, Kansas City is trying to become the 4th team to get to 3 straight Super Bowls. Because Miami did it in the 70s. Okay. New England did it in the 90s. And then Buffalo, we know, did it in the early 90s. Just getting there. Now, talking about winning, just getting to the Super Bowl. They'll be the 4th team to try to get there, to get to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. So, but with that being said, also, when you talk about how many times it's going to take before he gets over the hump, we saw that with Peyton Manning. How many times he had to lose to New England before he finally got over that hump, and finally beat Brady to get to that Super Bowl, right? I think we're going to have that here. I feel that Buffalo is going to get over that hump this game, go to Kansas City and pull out the upset. I think that this is going to be Josh Allen's game right here to get that out the way, to get that monkey off his shoulder that he can't beat Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. They're going to do it. Look, I know all the momentum is all towards Kansas City. Everything is telling everybody that Kansas City is going to the Super Bowl. I'm not hating on Kansas City. I just feel that Buffalo at this point for the last several years is just that team that's ready to explode. Too much buildup. When you got so much buildup inside of you, you need that one thing to let it all out, to vomit it out. And I think this is going to be the game. Yeah, this is going to be the game.
Is this the any given Sunday movie?
Yes, it is. It is. And with a crisp 32 degrees, this is not bothering the Buffalo Bills whatsoever.
I don't think it's bothering anybody, to be honest with you. I mean, it's better weather than what you guys got over there with all that snow, man. What's up with that?
Yeah. You're talking about hell freezing over, right? I know. It's crazy.
Oh,
but no,
man.
I'm taking the Buffalo Bills in this game. Give me a brand new Super Bowl between Buffalo and Philadelphia. We've never seen that before.
Actually, I'm glad that you mentioned that because that leads me to fourth down. Again, the Super Bowl will be happening on February 9th in New Orleans. And when we talk about the history of the Super Bowl, okay, you're right. We've never seen that matchup between Buffalo and Philadelphia.
And we never seen the one that you talk about, Kansas City and Washington.
That's correct. So it's pretty awesome that right there. But the last time it was Super Bowl 26 when the Redskins defeated the Bills 37-24. It was the Bills' second time reaching second consecutive Super Bowl appearance. Remember, the first one was the Giants, then the Redskins came in, or now what is the Commanders, and then twice with the Cowboys. Right. On the other side, we've seen Chiefs defeat the Eagles 38-35. And could we see a rematch between the Chiefs and the Eagles?
I don't.
Or could we see new, fresh teams?
We both agree that we're not wanting to see a rematch on either side. So we both got first-time Super Bowl matchups, but it's just opposite. You're right. You know, we don't. They don't script this to where we're going to want to see a brand new Super Bowl. You know, you have to win to get there. But you're right. I want to see something different. You know, and in order for that to happen, these teams got to go out there and play that game. Could it be a different story if there was a rematch? Could Buffalo overcome that loss and beat Washington? Could Philadelphia beat Kansas City this time around? You know, only time will tell. We'll see how these teams play out this Sunday. But I really want to see a new Super Bowl. I want to see something different, and so be it. If it happens again, it happens again. We've been down that road plenty of times, okay, and we've seen so many repeats of Super Bowls. It's nothing new in the NFL. We're already going on Super Bowl 59 right now, so you just got to go out there and play the game and win. So.
Frank wants to chime in since we're talking about the weather report. It's 50 in Florida and he's freezing.
Pobrecito. Get that babe. Get that man a bottle.
Dude, it's been 8 degrees here in Connecticut. I don't want to hear nothing what you say right now. All right.
It was 20 here in Texas in Waco. So come on.
Oh man, and you say it's supposed to be warmer towards the equator? Oh man. Listen. Imagine Buffalo not only beating Kansas City, but defeat whoever it is to win their very first Super Bowl.
Right.
Will they go ahead and call that kicker that missed the field goal at Super Bowl 25 when the ball went was it far right against the New York Giants?
Scott Norwood, never forget that name. I thought it was going in until I just saw keep on cooking right.
I feel like that storyline matches the Red Sox in 1986 when the ball went between Bill Buckner.
And see, it's crazy how, we who know sports and even some who don't know too much sports, there's always that one name that always sticks out because some infamous reason that happened in sports. You know what I'm saying? We can't remember who the quarterback was in the winning Super Bowl back in 2000 or whatever, but we can remember the one who lost it. And it's pretty sad that we can't remember the winners, but we remember the losers by their name.
But it was a big way though.
I know. It was good for us as Giants fans, but it wasn't good for Buffalo. But I think, and I was gonna pose that question before you even mentioned that Buffalo hasn't won a Super Bowl, because you look throughout the NFL. There are 10 teams that has never won a Super Bowl. And I was going to pose that question. Out of the 10 teams who has never won a Super Bowl, who's most likely to win their first Super Bowl?
Well, right now, Buffalo. They're in the streak right now, right?
I honestly agree. It is Buffalo. They're the closest one that gets there every single year for the last
I used to make fun of the Eagles all the time until they beat the Patriots.
Right.
So,
and look at them now, right?
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Now they get there with Jalen Hurts, and now they're trying to get there again. Oh my God.
That game Buffalo should have won, especially when we had the backup quarterback and Jeff Hostetler for the Giants, right? But they turned things around. And again, they focused on the run game, even though Buffalo was a high-powered passing game, but the defense kept it really, really tight. And that's what I'm saying. That if look, let me ask you this: out of the 4 teams right now, who has the best defense?
Who has the best defense out of the 4?
The Chiefs, the Bills, the Commanders, or the Eagles?
I would say the Buffalo Bills, honestly.
I
think
would say the Chiefs.
the Chiefs. I say
I would
Buffalo
say
has the
Steve
best defense.
Spagnuolo knows the formula on how to defend and stop Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I because he
He's
has.
talking
he has
about,
already.
look at that defensive coordinator. I need to do my research and find out which defensive coordinator has the most Super Bowl rings. It's got to be him.
He might.
Got 1 with the Giants. He got a couple already with the Chiefs.
So 3.
Was he there for the first one?
First Super Bowl that they won?
Maybe so. Who knows?
I think so.
Like I said, I gotta do my research. But hey, it is what it is.
You know,
go ahead.
We've never had a team win multiple Super Bowls under a different name, but from the same city. Now that I think about it, Washington could be that first team to win a Super Bowl as the Redskins and as the Commanders. Now, we've had teams win the Super Bowl from different cities with the same name, the Baltimore Colts and the Indianapolis Colts. Same name, but different cities, but never the same city and different name.
2 different nicknames.
Nah. Right. So Washington could be the first team to do that.
Well, we'll have to see about that. Let's see what happens this weekend.
Right.
All right. I'm going for the Chiefs versus the Commanders, and you got the Bills versus the Eagles. We're opposite of track right now. So,
but we agree. New Super Bowl.
No Super Bowl.
New
That's the only common ground we have. New Super Bowl.
New Super Bowl.
Oh, man. Hey, leave your comments below. Who are your team? What 2 teams are going to the Super Bowl? Share your thoughts, and it's going to be a while. We'll recap, and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll have to sit and wait. Man, a couple of weeks to wait for the Super Bowl. It feels like a long time. Big shout out, though. Moving on to the national champions, Ohio State Buckeyes. I feel like I want to say they still got an asterisk, but I'm like, look, when you're in that postseason play right there and you started from round 1, you got to give that respect. And it was a great game. And unfortunately, Notre Dame fell short. And I hate Ohio State because they kicked that field goal and I lost once again. The spread was 8.5, bro. I was winning by 0.5, and he kicked the field goal. And I'm like, okay, there goes my monies. Damn it! But it's all right though. I'm a parlay for this weekend and see how I do.
Jeez, I feel like Notre Dame. I feel like Notre Dame left everything on their first drive when they scored. They left everything there.
No, dude, scored 7 points. Be like, all right, we're done.
And that's it. Yeah, we're drained. We don't got no more energy.
Oh man, I was praying for that comeback, and then I turn off. I text you. I said, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. 3rd quarter, man. And then all of a sudden, I see the scores coming back. I'm like, oh, let me tune in again. Oh, anyway, don't do that to me here in these NFL games, though.
Right.
Oh, it's different. It's different. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. But anyways, thank you for listening to the All 4 Downs podcast. I'm Obi-Wan with Hector V. We'll tune in next week as we get set for the Super Bowl. Yeah. Super Bowl. I love it, man. I love it.
The Saints are marching
in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. No.
Well, the Saints will be marching in to watch the game on their home stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, one more. Oh, yeah, he said see ya. Yeah, we'll see you later, buddy.
Yeah. You better be on.
And everybody else, thank you for watching. Gotta love some football.
First down.